And I love the stories of the evening of, Anna, I got super high on edibles one time, and a friend, there's always that annoying friend who freaks out, and you're like, come on, don't be weird. But my friend was like, oh my God, I'm too high. She had to announce. And then my favorite moment was another friend stepped in and she said, whenever I feel like that, I just tell myself, I'm just high enough. I was like, that can probably apply to a lot of situations. So here's my story. Unlike most of my stories, this one ends with me in court, but like most of my stories, it centers around my boobs. Now, here's my background. I'm from Grand Prairie, Texas. It's a suburb of Dallas, but it has this real country bent to it, as the name suggests. Literally, someone got off a train and said, "My, what a grand prairie." And it stuck. So I never embraced it, I never fit in. I enjoy things like banter and enunciation. In fact, I spent most of my life trying to learn big words and stop saying fixin' to. But the cold hard fact is, I'm a hillbilly, born and bred. It's not all bad. One of the best things about being a hillbilly is the people you party with. So country folk get the fuck down. They don't have pride. So there's like fancy people, there's a point where they go, oh, I would never, not country people. Like a favorite hobby of country people is to drive your truck in a muddy field. And you just call it mudding. Let's go mudding, fuck yeah, let's go mudding, woo! And we'll scream and drink beer. We're mudding. And normal people are like, what is fun about that? They know, but they know. They know the secrets. Let's get drunk in an inner tube and float down the river. We'll call it tubing. Very simple pleasures. So one of my best friends, Ray, he's in a lot of my super drunk stories. My best friend, which he would love, he takes hillbilly fun to new heights. So like he bought an old hearse at a police auction that he drives like a limo. I was like, why'd you buy a hearse? He was like, because I thought it'd be fun to take all my friends to concerts in it. All right, I mean, that's a commitment that I've never had. He threw the 1999 New Year's Eve party, he threw on the original chicken ranch in LaGrange, Texas. That's a whorehouse. And in these times, it's a burnt down whorehouse. But he was like, cause it's cool. So he had like a dance floor ordered and ribs. Anyway, he puts together what we call a hillbilly hot tub, which is you take a horse trough. Some of you know, it's a nice knot. You look like a decent guy who reads books, but I see it coming through. Hot tub, I get it. We all have pasts. It's a horse trough full of water, and you prop it up on cinder blocks. My accent will come back through this story. You prop it up on cinder blocks and heat it with propane tanks. And if you're Ray or the other people at his party, you sit there eating ribs from the salt lick and just plunk them in the water when you're done. Years ago, I got an invitation from Ray that said, Naked Island Houseboat Party. Bring beer, clothing optional, July 3rd through 6th. Now that's not a kind of invitation you decline. Plus, I was about to move away from Austin to LA, and it just seemed like a good way to go out. And now when I say houseboat, please don't get excited. Ray is not rich. He's crafty, and he really spends a lot of time at police auctions. And at these auctions, he likes to find things that he can party on, like that hearse and this houseboat. So it's like the most rickety-ass, barely floating ship ever to leave any shore at any time. And it barely did that. It's like, all right, you know what? It's like the size of this stage, maybe a little longer because it's a boat and boats aren't square, that's weird. So, but it's like a little longer than this with like, picture just like a shack in the middle of it. But it was enough. So it held maybe 8 people kind of comfortably. You could go up on the roof of the shack, call it the penthouse, why not? It maybe held 8 people comfortably, and we, for these 3 days, we had easily upwards of 20 at any given time. But the plan was, head to Lake Austin with all the beer you can, float down the river a piece, then drop anchor, drink and swim, and run around naked for 3 days and nights on this party barge. And don't think Ray is irresponsible. He'd read the Parks and Wildlife Handbook, and he made sure that when we were drinking and anchored, there were always enough life jackets for everyone. Because the way to get to keep the party going is to follow the basic rules. So we got all the beer and provisions, which were beer, and we were off. Clothes, that is. So we floated down the river to a kind of private spot where we'd spend the next 3 days. Then we dropped anchor and trow. Now, I was not that, I assumed he was kind of kidding. So I was shy about, like some people were just like, woo, here we go. And I was like, I don't know, I feel weird. Luckily, my friends threw ice cubes at me until I finally took off my top. Then we had a party. So the music was loud, and we drank, and we danced around, and girls mostly just went old school topless. And some guys stayed clad. But 4 of these guys had coordinated wearing animal Speedos. Do you know this one? I'm waiting for the aw shucks nod. Both animal Speedos. I mean, if you're gonna have the hot tub, we're not gonna draw the line at animal Speedos. Who would do that? So this animal Speedos, it's a boy thong with like an animal in the wiener area, like an elephant or a moose or a camel. You can imagine the animals that would work, with little like sort of what you might make a puppet out of, ears or eyes or whatever. So they're just like, oh yeah, a raccoon on their ding or whatnot. And I don't know why I called it a ding. Why not be cute about it? So they're representing the animal kingdom on their crotches, and we drank, and all day in the sun, and we danced and swam around and napped. Now, by nap, of course, I mean passed out. And it was beautiful. It was just a nice, relaxing. We're parked, basically. You can do whatever you want. This little thing that he called Naked Island. Now, here's something that I did not write down. I never tell anyone. Ray reminds me of it every time I see him because I try to throw him, the hillbilly you are, he always fires back with this. I will tell you because you're the nicest people in the world. You're just such a wonderful audience. I was drunk and I was swimming and I was on like a little noodle. So I was like in the water, like sort of to here. And I noticed that like my boobs were like kind of floating in the water. And it seemed like kind of like ahead of me. And I started chasing them and yelling, I'm chasing my titties! College graduate. Ray will never let me forget this. Because he's like, oh, Miss Big Words, I'm chasing my titties! I was just trying to fit in. So we had sunsets and songs and we're making out and laughing. You know what a party is. So friends who didn't want to be there for the whole time and they just popped in for a bit, they were ushered back and forth by Colby, our jet ski cowboy. And when there were multiple people, Colby tied floatable things to the jet ski, and there was just a little parade of hillbillies going back and forth from our boat all day, while I, of course, was titty wrangling. Myself. They were never far. Anyway, so the night of the 4th of July, We parked amid this big group of boats and yachts and houseboats, all bigger and all normal. Let's just say normal than our rickety old craft. So they're all nicer, but none are more fun or drunk or loud or naked as ours. And not that it was a contest, but we would have won had it been a contest. Now, we were part of hundreds of Austinites out to enjoy the city's best view of the fireworks. I'm not sure when the singing started. But there's something about being drunk for a couple of days, mostly naked in the sun, sitting on top of a barely legal houseboat that makes you think you can do whatever you want. So we worked our way through Proud to Be an American and whatever other America songs we could think of. And inexplicably, we all launched into a top of our lungs rendition of Rainbow Connection. Just feeling like kids, I guess. When two Texas Parks and Wildlife officers decided to board the boat. Boat cops. Did you even know that was a thing? He did. He really, and you look kind of sunburned. Like it looks almost if you were like, this pretty much happened to me on Wednesday. This was real recent. But yeah, a lot of this is shocking. I hear you. I like it because I feel support. So these guys are a real buzzkill. So the music just stopped the music, and the boat cops all asked us to put our clothes on like assholes. And they were like, have to sit quietly as they inspect the houseboat shack. And we were safe from any real trouble because we're all of age and Ray had read the handbook. So we followed the lake laws. But they're looking around for something, just like Making of a Murder, they're looking around for something to pin on us. It's not just like Making a Murder. We had done many things wrong. But they're looking for things because technically it's not illegal just to be loud on a lake. And this was America's birthday. We had rights, freedom to be a loud, drunk speech giver. So they were being intimidating. Like they're looking around, there's kids around here. There's laws. Like, at a certain point you're like, you know what, I'm 30. You're not intimidating me. Like, there should be another conclusion, like, I'm 30, I shouldn't be doing this, but it was like, hey, fuck you. Fuck you, I'm not 12. I know my rights. We're naked. And we're drunk. So what, a lot of people drink. We're anchored. You got nothing, pig. Lake pig, you got nothing! But still, it's intimidating when a cop of any sort is kind of grilling you. So we sat there shivering like we'd all been sent to the wet principal's office. Then they found it. One of the boat cops said there were more people on board than there were life jackets. We were short 2 flotation devices. And that is against the law. Yeah. And then, stunned silence of shame when a drunk voice with a country accent said, Laura has big boobs. Maybe we can count them as 2 flotation. That was Colby. The cop assured us they couldn't. We were all taken back to shore in cop boats 4 at a time. Ray was cited and given a ticket. And he was pissed and swore to fight it. Now, if it was me, when you're speeding like 15 miles over the limit, you get a ticket, you're like, well, I'm just glad you didn't see me when I was going 100. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way most people think. But Ray was like, read the handbook. I'm fighting it. He had plenty of life jackets. He wasn't going down for this. And I was in the cop boat with him and his friend Jamie, and Jamie swore to get revenge on these cops. And she said, I'm gonna pee in this boat. And then she did. So I moved to LA, leaving Elvis behind me. And then a few months later, I happened to be back in Austin doing stand-up. And I happened to be there, shockingly, on the day that Ray had his court case. So he asked me to testify. Yeah. Court was in the strip mall, like a nice one. In the strip mall, like by a 99-cent store and a newly remodeled Tantastic. And Ray represented himself, and he dressed the part. He put on this vintage off-white suit. He looked like Boss Hogg. Several of us met there. We met out front, and Ray told us the game plan. Hey, say something so I don't have to pay that ticket. Got it. I remember 3 distinct reactions. I was like, yeah, I'll say whatever you need. For one, we're in a strip mall. What kind of justice system? Like, I can't even take this seriously. And I could walk to 7-Eleven from the, there's nothing. And our friend Chewy got serious face. He was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, I can't lie on the stand. And then our friend Jeff said, I don't care. I'll say anything. I wasn't even there. Amazing. So we were hoping the boat cop wouldn't show, right? That's what you hope. There he was, hating us. Take these assholes down. And he took the stand, and he said, he didn't have all the details, but he had several complaints of noise about our shack, lake shack. And when he boarded the boat, and he said when he did, he found only 14 life jackets, but there were way more people on board. And he added that they were extremely intoxicated. What a dick. We don't even think he was asked that. As proof of how drunk we are, he confidently turned his copy of the ticket over to read something he'd written down on the back. Your Honor, someone said Laura has big boobs. Maybe they could count as 2 flirtations. This guy's done. He's like, mic drop. Then it was Ray's turn. It's a little baby Matlock. Walked to the front of the court, pacing, eyeballing everything. You say there were 14 life jackets on board, but how many people were on board, sir? And the cop was stumped. He did not write that down. He hemmed and hawed, and he was, at least 15 and probably 20, definitely more than in Ray Press. But you didn't write that number down! So you don't actually know if we were short any life jackets, do you? And the officer did not. Ray called me to the stand. The judge looked at me. You, Laura? I'm officially exhibits double D. Ray made a point to remind the court of my God-given non-regulation chest floaties. And he asked me if I remembered how many people were on the boat. I did not. Chewy took the stand, emphatically said the same. Jeff did too, even though he was in New York when this party happened. Ray made his closing argument, pacing back and forth. Your Honor, no one knows how many people were on the boat. He's just chewing scenery. No one can know. I don't know. She doesn't know. He doesn't know. No one can know. So I don't think I should get in trouble when there's no proof of wrongdoing. The judge said, dismissed. He jumped and applauded and whooped. The prosecuting attorney leaned over to Ray, said this was the most fun she'd had at work. Why don't you get in trouble more often? This is great. And we headed off to another part of the strip mall where there was this sort of gator-themed Cajun restaurant to celebrate with fried food and hurricanes, and the bill, $257. The ticket, $150. Because that's how goddamn hillbillies party. Thank you.